Welcome to yet another episode of I Am. I'm Feroz Ahmad, your host, and with me today is yet another distinguished guest, Ramani Fernando. Welcome to our show, Ramani.
Thank you. Welcome.
To start off with, who is Ramani Fernando? How would you describe yourself?
Well, I would say I'm defined by my family, and my priorities is to do my best for my family always. I have 4 children and 5 grandchildren, and also I'm responsible for a lot of staff who are under me, who are quite young. So that's also my priority. And also I'm really passionate about the social responsibility programs that I'm involved in. That really gives me a lot of satisfaction. Yes, and also I would like to say that I'm a very hardworking person with a lot of passion in whatever I do. And also I always follow my dreams and never give up.
So what do you believe is the trait that differentiates you?
Well, I think all those also differentiates me, maybe, but maybe now I'm very sort of passionate in the job I do. I've been in the business now for over 40 years and I'm very passionate about it. And it also may be my discipline and little things, little things matter to me a lot. And I think that has been also helpful to be successful, because I had to always be kind of a role model to my staff, right? Because they follow me. I mean, I've been, as I said, for so many years, and there are so many people gone through me. So I think it's just that, there's simple things like, I think discipline is very, very important, and time management, because we are dealing with people all the time, right? So I think, the business is such. So if you are not a disciplined person, you cannot deliver what you're supposed to deliver. Yeah.
So when you look back in your professional career, was this something that you always wanted to do, or is it something that by chance you stumbled upon?
I would say both, okay? Because from my very young days, I have been very, very passionate about fashion, anything creative, from the time I remember, right? It may be the time I was playing with my dolls. And I always wonder, I was brought up in a place called Kuliapitia, where my father was a lawyer. And I always wonder what inspired me. And this was a time there was no television, there wasn't even a fashion magazine around, and you never saw anyone fashionable. But I don't know, it was just in me. And then, of course, after my O-levels, when I must admit and say that I wasn't a great student. I mean, I wasn't interested in that kind of thing. It was always to do with fashion and that kind of thing. So when I wanted to do something creative, actually I wanted to become a fashion designer. But there was no scope for anything like that. Neither there was anything for hairdressing. Always I used to meddle with hair and all that. And when I wanted to do hairdressing, and my father said, it's fine, because they saw it in me from my very, very young days, what I'm interested in. And I remember one of my father's friends asking him, a lawyer friend, right? What are you hoping to do after your O-levels? And then when my father said, oh, she wants to do hairdressing, he was shocked. And he said, do you want your daughter to become a barber? Then my father's answer was like, well, I'm sure she'll make more money than me, because hair won't stop growing. So that's how he took it, So there was always encouragement, and yeah, that's how I got into it.
Looking back, how did you start your business? How much did you invest? Where did you get your first capital?
Right. So it's like this, Feroz. I had opportunity of being in England for a year soon after my marriage, and so when I went there and I joined the salon, to cut a long story short, I have said this story so many times at different interviews. So anyway, when I went for my first interview, he asked me to show what I know. This is now my first trip abroad, okay, first time in London and all that. And then, so I started showing what I knew. Then this man came up to me and said, you have to really learn and come back for a job like this. So then when I walked up a little bit further, I found this place where there are also juniors, right? So juniors in a huge salon. This was in Harrow. So juniors means that you have to do all the menial work first, like you have to mop and sweep and shampoo hair, make cups of tea. Always you are assisting someone, assisting a senior stylist. And so I learned so much like that. So, and in about 6 months' time, I was like a junior stylist there. So when I came back, I have a box room in my house, and I'm still in that house. And I use my box room just for, I didn't think of it as a business, okay? Just to, now what I have learned, I want to come and experiment on my friends. And then, of course, Colombo is small. Word went round that I'm back from London, and I just couldn't cope, in a few years' time. Maybe after about a year, I had to expand into my garage from the box room. So I didn't invest like that. So whatever I earn, I put it back, so now from the box room, I had to go into the garage. So I had to do up the garage. But everything I did, I did it. Step by step. Yeah, everything of course, at that time, you could have done that. This day and age, you cannot do that, okay? But that time, it was fine. But I did everything what I learned in the salon there, the same way, in a professional way, I did it. So I suppose there was a difference, because we had very, very few hairdressers at this. The barbers may have been dominating the scene. So I was like, I stood out, I suppose, okay? And then people are just, flocking in to get their eye cut long, because we used to all have long hair at that time. So when this long hair is cut short, and then, as I said, Colombo is such a small place, word goes around, people see it and they want it done. Actually, my first few haircuts, or first month or something, I hardly charged. I didn't know what to charge, right? So it was not a planned business, right? It just I would say it was like, it was grown organically. It was just opportunity that I got. I had to make it bigger. Then I was invited to open up at the Taj. Taj has just opened up. Hilton opened up. So I was invited to open the salons there. So, and I just got opportunities like that, and I just put in whatever I earned into it.
So starting from humble beginnings, you've grown to such an extent that Ramani Fernando is a brand on its own. When did you first realize that you were a success and that your business has become a success?
Yeah, I would say for me, it's a bit difficult to measure success. I would say, my biggest accomplishment is giving job opportunities and training hundreds and hundreds of staff throughout my career of 45 years almost, right? And to see them successful, most of them have gone overseas, and they're doing very well in the same field. And also, some have opened up here in Sri Lanka and then doing very well. So I'm very proud to see what they have learned, learned from me, where my discipline, everything is concerned. That really, I think, is success to me.
So on the same lines, how do you define success? And let me add another question to that. If you are to describe success, especially your business, in one word, what would that particular word be to define success?
Okay, where I'm concerned is content, I think.
Success is content.
Yes, when you're happy with what you are doing. I sort of take success as a daily thing, When I see my staff doing well, when I see clients happy, that is success. Not just, it's true, I have, got many awards and that kind of thing, but this is what really makes me feel that we have, achieved, and to see my staff growing. Because, I have staff from different types of backgrounds. Socially, they have been of different level when they have come to the salons, and to see them develop socially is also a great achievement where I'm concerned. Of course, it's an ongoing training business, and it is very, very satisfying, that is, and they become celebrities, they are known, and that's what I want at this stage of my life, in this career. I just want them to be very, very successful.
And you have contentment and happiness in their own success as well.
Definitely, yes.
So a lot of people consider you to be a role model and look up to you. Growing up, or maybe even now, do you have any mentors? Do you have any role models that you looked up to? Can you name 3 of those?
Okay, could I, okay, role models you're talking about,
It doesn't
no?
necessarily need to be in the industry.
Okay,
It can be someone related, but people who inspired you.
Okay. I used to always, my mother was a housewife and my father was he was a lawyer, he was very hardworking. And then he obviously inspired me and I had a lot of respect for him. And well, my husband, who's also, I mean, I wouldn't have been here today if not for my husband, because he always encouraged me. And, you know, he has gone through a lot. I think we both come from the same type of backgrounds and we have achieved everything in a not hard way, but not giving up. You know, so I always look up to him because I always get the correct kind of advice from him. And now, of course, my children are also grown up and they are also there to advise me. So, yeah, I also look up to my children, like you know, what they have achieved. And right throughout their life, they're seeing a mother who's been very, very busy, but I'm so glad to see what they are today. So I think my role models are in my own circle, I think, you know, first before I look outside. Yeah,
absolutely. So you briefly touched on some failures. Can you elaborate on some of your failures and how you overcame them?
Okay, so I had a few of them in the sense opening salons. One of the worst was the bomb blast at the WTC. We were just opened a few weeks and it wasn't even insured. And this the bomb blast there just took away the whole salon was you know, demolished. And the only sort of consolation I have is it was Poya Day and we didn't have any staff in there. So that was, you know, thank God for that. And like opening some of the salons, like maybe I've opened in Bangladesh. I've had them for a few years, like in India and in the Maldives, you know. So those they have been a success for a while, and after that it's quite hard to sustain it, you know, because I suppose this sort of this kind of my kind of job needs that kind of personal attention. So it's all in the hands of the staff. What I always tell them is, like, we can have the most high-tech salons and the most, you know, prestigious locations, but it's up to you, you know,
it's people-centric.
It's a people thing, yeah. So like that. And then, of course, at the beginning, when my senior staff, you know, used to leave me, I'm talking of years ago, right? Leave me and open up on their own. So that was also a bit hard because then I had to like start from the beginning. But now, of course, I have an academy which is very, very successful, and I have learned that no one is indispensable. That there are people who will, you know, take on when one goes off.
Any mistakes in your life? Biggest mistake? Do you have any regrets?
Actually, I don't have regrets like that. Whatever I have learned, whatever regrets I've had in the span of my work years, it has made what I am today. You know, I would say that, yeah.
And would you be able to share with us a memory where you felt defeated, lost, and how did you cope up with the mental aspect of such a painful memory or instance?
Okay, I would say the loss of my mother, where just before the birth of my 4th child, and she passed away on my pregnant belly. So that was really very hard, because she was my rock and she was there to assist me in my bringing up the children, because I was having a very, very busy life at that time with my business growing. So she was there and I was really lost at the beginning. But I suppose time is a healer, and with my husband's support, I got through it. Yeah.
So when was the last time you cried?
I haven't had a major cry recently, but I lost one of my staff a few days ago, you know. to a heart failure. She was young, just 32 years old. So that was really very upsetting. Yeah, very, very upsetting. Yeah.
So let us look into your personal style of leadership. How do you motivate and inspire your team?
Okay, that is a ongoing thing. Okay, it's every day I had to keep talking to them. I have now 14 salons. Okay, there are around 12 in Colombo. So I would visit every morning, and I'm on group chats all the time. So now, because of this situation, also we do a lot of Zoom meetings on a weekend. But I try to visit. I just love going into the salons and mingling with them and having a good laugh and that kind of thing. And also, yeah. So that's motivation. And also, I'm involved in a lot of fashion shows, bridal dressing. So I have a team that goes with me. I sometimes keep changing the team. So I have an opportunity of meeting more people, and they have opportunity of working with me. So that's how it is, And of course, once in a way, we have a motivational, training, but which we haven't done for the last 1 year now. But because we have to, it's a service industry. It's when I also think of my staff who are from different backgrounds, you have to kind of guide them on the correct path. That's so important, because sometimes they can't handle it. When they come in, they are different people. After a year or two, they become different.
The personalities change.
Personality change. They see the sophisticated world. So you have to keep them grounded and
rooted to the ground.
That's right. You have to keep them rooted.
So you mentioned that you like to visit your salons, interact with people. What is your work week like?
Okay.
You can further elaborate on explaining how your typical day is as well.
Okay, so I'll talk to you about my day. Okay, I wake up about 6:30 in the morning. I'm a very morning person, and then I have to start my day with spiritually. I have a prayer session in the morning by myself, and that's me time. And then, of course, I exercise. I have a trainer that comes home, or I might even go for a class if I have the time. And I must also mention that I started exercising only very late in life, just as I turned 50. And then I don't look back, from the day I started. I just love it. And I feel that I am much more energetic now than in my 40s, right? So exercise has done a lot to me, and I love to tell this to people because, it's never too late, right? So anyway, I do exercise. Then of course, the kids are all grown, but there was a time that was really hectic when they were small. Okay, so I have more freedom now, and then of course I would spend some time with my husband because he's also retired now. He's retired and he's at home now most of the time. So talk about business. Sometimes we talk too much about business, I feel, and then I visit one of the salons. Every morning I go to one of the salons, come home for lunch, and then it's really, I'll be lucky if I can have a power nap, because then I'm like recharged.
Rejuvenated.
Yes, rejuvenated for the afternoon session. And about 3:30 I start work in my home salon. That's the one I spoke to you about in my garage. So I still have that salon going. That was my first, and I would say that's a very busy salon still. So I still cut hair, a few heads of hair maybe a day, and I do my bridal consultations. And then in the evenings, maybe now of course it's just, at home, but sometimes I go and see my grandkids, or they come home to see me or something. I spend a lot of time with them. But unfortunately, out of the 5 grandkids I have, 3 are in England, and only 2 are here. So I love to spend time with them. So the day goes like that, yeah. So weekly, I have my off day mainly on a Monday, And Sunday, if I don't have a bridal dressing, that whole Sunday I'm off. I don't work and I don't visit any salon. On a Monday also, I don't visit salons because that is a bit stressful also. I prefer to, just leave them alone for some without being on their back all the time. So anyway, yeah, that's how it goes. So my day's routine is that, yeah. Then I love to spend time with friends. So sometimes in the evenings I meet up with friends and maybe I go for a movie or something like that. I love fun things.
So you spoke about your grandkids.
Yeah.
Let's put in a position where they grow up and you're able to influence them. What word of advice would you give them?
Right. First itself, I think I would say always try to follow your dreams. And now, my eldest grandchild is 17 and the youngest is like 2.5, okay? So I'm very close to my 17-year-old granddaughter, but she's in England, right? I haven't seen her for 2 years. So anyway, I would always advise them to be good human beings. That's the main thing, I think. And they're good kids anyway, so.
So,
one more thing I want to say. When they were small, they all wanted to become hairdressers.
Oh.
And they
so you've inspired them.
Yeah. They used to spend so much of time when they come from England, so much of time in the salon, getting their nails done and all that. And even the boys said, I want to become a hairdresser. But now, of course, they won't think about it. But
so what are your future goals? What do you see yourself in the next few years?
It's a good question. Sometimes I don't know how to answer that. What I have built now, I really wish it continues. And I have some very, very senior staff who's been with me about 30 years, over 25 years. There are quite a few of them. So they are also around. None of my children are in it as such, but they'll be there to advise me on my business side of it and that kind of thing, but none of them are into it. But one of my daughters-in-law helps me in like the social media and that kind of thing. So future is a question mark still. Like I cannot give you that one answer for it yet.
Especially with COVID and the current context, how has it impacted your business? And what are the challenges that you see ahead? And how are you planning on overcoming these challenges?
Okay, yes, it's a very hard time that we all are going through, the whole world is going through. We had lockdowns, so salons were closed. So it was a very trying time for me because my priority is my staff. I had to see that, they are okay financially. And so that was quite hard. Anyway, thank God I managed to, look after them. And, this is, I'm sure we'll get over it sometime. We'll see the end of the tunnel soon. I'm praying to God that it will be that. And but of course, these young people who work with me, they are very positive. If at all, it's me who gets like very like anxious and anxiety and that kind of thing, because somehow I have to keep this place, keep it going. But they are kind of very like cool about it, and but because we are dealing with people all the time, so it's very important that we follow the COVID rules in all the salons, because sometimes you are in very close contact. So it's a very hard time, but still, I must say that we have survived it very well, and the staff is very conscious about managing the rules very well, and I suppose the clients also see that, and they are confident in coming in because they see all the guidelines that we follow, and yeah, so I think we are just going on like that. So at the moment, as you know, it's quite bad, but still people are, something for us that as soon as we open on the 21st of, when did you open? 21st of July, right? As soon as we opened, we had a rush of clients in all our salons. We were packed, right? It really scared me. It was really too much, right? People just, our people, anyone for them, human beings like to look good, feel good, when you look good, you feel good. And that's very important, to carry on with. And with this kind of pandemic, we are all like feel down about it, so this sort of thing, when you look good, it lifts you up. So I think it's very important, men and women both. And so that's how, they were really frustrated with their grey showing, hair grown out, nails grown out. So it was,
personal grooming plays a part in how you portray your confidence.
Of course, and that gives you the confidence,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you see people speak about you in the future?
Yeah, so a lot of people have, as I said, gone through me. Hundreds and hundreds of them have learned from me. So I just want them to feel that I was, kind person to them. And most of them, even now, they really appreciate what I have done for them. So I'm sure they will think of me like that when I'm no more.
And your final message to the youth who are starting off their entrepreneurial career, businesses, life in general, what is your final message to the youth who are facing so many obstacles these days?
Yeah. Yes, of course, the youth is like, losing a few years of their lives. But at the same time, I would say, take this opportunity to master something. There are so many opportunities that are available now. I think the COVID has given you such a lot of opportunities, and I'm sure post-COVID you can make use of it. So make sure of like what you want to do, like, it's okay failing, right? Just go ahead with what you want to do. Just don't, get stuck stuck in one place. This is the time to take the opportunity and go ahead in whatever you want to do. Of course, academically also, if you need academic, you need it, qualifications, you need that, right? Say you are going into a creative business. So maybe even then you need academic qualification, and then follow your path. And now, even now, say all these jobs are respected. Like say a chef, you become a celebrity chef, right? Anything, how many people have come up like this? Handicrafts. So many clever people there are. So follow your dreams. Designers, flower makers, bakers, so many have like popped up now, no? So follow your dreams. That also could be your life, like a sideline, So don't give up. There will be, a time, opportunity post-COVID. This is the time not to feel down about it. Yeah.
So with that positive note and with that statement, follow your dreams, let me thank you for spending time with us and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was a pleasure.